The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. 14:20 in the morning, Belly Up got a free one this morning there. I got a double dose of Belly Up bright and early. Anyways, for today's show, 14:20 in the morning, brought to you by Barn Burner Hockey and barnburnerhockey.ca. Use promo code 1420BARN at barnburnerhockey.ca to get 10% off their all-natural hockey products and apparel. Once again, thank you for making us a part of your morning every morning here on Facebook Live. Getting at her a little bit early again. Just give the people what they want, I guess. All right. So here it goes. The Boston Bruins, they're on a thing all their own. They just can't do anything wrong. It seems no matter what. They got outshot the other night, 57-17 or 18, whatever it was. Ended up winning that hockey game against the Calgary Flames. The Flames got goalied 100%. Linus Ullmark was unbelievable. He made a lot of big saves, like in clutch situations. All saves are saves in any situation. If you don't stop the puck, it goes in the net. It's a bad goal. No matter not. It's a bad goal, but no matter what, he was unbelievable. Ullmark was. He made the saves when they had to be made, kept his team in the game when they had no business being in that game. The Flames outplayed them. The Flames got goalied 100%, and that's kind of been the how their season has went. They can't get a save. Vladar got pulled in the first period, only made three saves on 5 shots, and then that's the night pretty much. The Flames made a goal of it. They gave up a late goal. That's what the Bruins do. The Bruins seem to be on a pace on their own. It's unbelievable what they're doing. They just don't seem to stop. They 99 points or whatever it's at right now, and they just on and on they go. They haven't had to make any big deals yet. The trade deadline is tomorrow afternoon, 3:00 Eastern, 1:00 Mountain Time. But the Bruins, they made the one acquisition, going getting a big bruising right winger. As much as there's bruising right wingers now in today's game, but they went and got Garnet Hathaway from the Washington Capitals, a hell of a player. He's a kind of a typical Bruin, big bruising guy, can muck it up down the corners a little bit, get the puck in front of the net, and let the big guys, let the goal scorers do what they got to do. And that's the kind of acquisition the Bruins might have had to put them over the top. I can't see anybody making a push against the Bruins right now, but you know, that's why they play the game. That's why they have a 7-game series in the playoffs. It's going to be it's always tough to win a playoff round. First round's always really tough, no matter what, because every team's a playoff team, and on and on it goes. But it just seems like the Bruins are on no matter what they do, they go out, they play a tight game with the Oilers the night before, win that hockey game, then they should have been blown out against Calgary, and then they end up winning. That's an 8-game winning streak to top that off with 3 or 4 7-game winning streaks that they have this season. And the Bruins just seem to be on a pace all their own. It's unbelievable what they got going on. It's not something we've seen since, well, I was a young broadcaster back then. I would have been 7 or 8, 4 or 5 years old even when the Montreal Canadiens did it, and they went 72 games that season. I think it's unbelievable to watch what they got going on with the Bruins, and you just wonder if they can keep it up. The thing about having a great regular season is, when do you take the pedal off a little bit and start to, do you ever just say, okay, we're going to win the division. We have a big enough lead. Let's start resting guys, because really winning a President's Trophy doesn't mean a hill of beans to anybody, because the big thing you want to win is a Stanley Cup, obviously, and this group only has the one Stanley Cup that they won in 2011 versus the Vancouver Canucks. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do take their foot off the pedal a little bit and just give some guys a rest, because some of these guys are getting a little bit long in the tooth, and you want to give them a bit of a rest. You want to keep going and see what a kind of a historic run you can have, but the historic run might not be anything you want. At the end of the day, you want a Stanley Cup, and only four teams out of the last 22 years who have gone on to win the President's Trophy have gone on to win a Stanley Cup. So winning a President's Trophy doesn't mean anything. I don't think anybody's taking a replica Stanley Cup or President's Trophy home with them and putting it on their mantle. And you're not having parades down Main Street, and they're not naming the arena after you. They're not naming schools after you if you win a President's Trophy. So winning a Stanley Cup is the ultimate goal, obviously. And you want to see what the Bruins are going to do going down the stretch. If they're going to pick up another player here and there, if they're going to sit Ullmark a few nights and give him the rest rest and that load management stuff. You wonder if that's going to happen as the weeks get into as we inch closer to the playoffs. You just wonder if that's going to be the thing that's going to happen. You hope that the Bruins can kind of make an historic run and see where they can go, but I can't see it happening. The trade deadline's an interesting part of the world. You look at the rumors that are going around, and you see JT Miller is kind of on the block, and you wonder why the Canucks would do that, because the Canucks are going to Canuck, and they made a deal yesterday, getting a guy from Detroit. A minor deal doesn't mean a whole bunch. Got some draft picks and the like, first round guys that people that these GMs covet. But the rumor out there that they're trading JT Miller doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to me, because they went and signed Miller in the offseason, and they had Horvat sitting there at home, their team captain. They had Horvat. They could have signed him, gave him the deal that he should have gotten from the Canucks, but they went and signed Miller, and then 8-9 months later, they're deciding to go and trade Miller, and then they lost their captain, the team leader in the whole bit, and the guy who quite liked being in Vancouver. And now so instead of signing Horvat, they went and signed Miller. Now they're going to trade Miller. I don't understand what's going on in Canuck land. Should they have signed Miller? Probably not. I wrote it in Belly Up on Belly Up Media. There's an article I wrote, almost a year ago now, that the Canucks should probably not sign Miller and sign Horvat and get that done. And now they're trading Miller. It doesn't make a whole bunch of sense, but it's just an odd situation that's going on in the National Hockey League. Another one that's kind of got me thinking a little bit is the human element to these trades. Is that you got guys getting dealt, like a Jonathan Quick from LA, end of an era there. It's coming to an end there, those Stanley Cup runs. But you had Jonathan Quick in the last year of his 10-year deal. I know he has got a boatload of money and the like, but you still got a feel for a guy who put his heart and soul into a team for a long time, and he gets dealt for a younger goalie who's having a better year, and Quick's not having a good year, like I said. But it's just thanks by see you with these guys, and it's like, okay, well, we did you not dirty, but we got rid of you. You were service to us for a long time, but it's time to move on, and we're going to do something. The Kings aren't winning a Stanley Cup, so I don't understand this deal. I would let Quick just ride it out and see what they could happen. I know that the West is wide open, but the LA Kings are not winning a Stanley Cup this year. You can mark that one down. You can mark that down right now. The Kings are not winning a Stanley Cup this year. So why they would make that deal and not let Quick finish out the season there, finish off his career, let him ride off into the sunset. There's a human element to all this. Like you see Patty Kane, he left as well. And it was kind of obviously his decision, because he waived his no trade to go to the Rangers, which we'll get into that. I was wrong thing in a second here. But you wonder why these guys would want to leave and not stick around for that thanks by see ya. Quick, I think that was kind of a dirty move by the Kings to get rid of him, because like I said, they're not winning a cup, and you got the end of an era there in LA, those great teams that they had there in 2012 and 13 or whatever year it was, or 11 and 13, I can't remember what it was, 12 and 15, I can't, it doesn't much matter what years it was, but it's sad to see like these teams that were the dynasties of the 2010s with the Blackhawks and the Kings dismantling their teams, and guys just get old and retire, just like the rest of us are getting old and trying to retire, right? It's kind of that thing. So it's interesting to see that these teams kind of break things down. And the other thing you don't like to see was when the Leafs made a trade the other day, and they pulled a guy off the ice in practice at pregame skate, and they get told that they're going to different waters, and they got a great team there in Toronto. Don't worry about last night. That's a one-off against McDavid and the Oilers. McDavid just flying around the ice again, 155 or whatever he's got points. He got his 52nd goal last night too against the Leafs. I think the Leafs went a bit deep. They got 6 new players. I think that's a bit of a mistake going that deep for it. I think it's a huge mistake getting that many players at the deadline like that, and moving 6 guys, and they said that they may not be done yet. So trying to get guys to blend at this point in the season, that's a lot of players, but we'll get back to that in a second. It's a really odd situation that would happen, because you just I don't know about the Leafs, because they're making those trades. But like I was saying, pulling guys off the ice, and they got to say goodbye to their families and everything else, and move cities. I know that they say it's part of the business and everything else, but there's still a human element to this, to all this hockey deadlines and trade deadlines and everything else. Because you grow with a team, and you think you're going on a cup run with these guys, and all of a sudden you're getting dealt to to Columbus like Quick did, and you're getting traded around, and you're not making the playoffs, you're not playing the playoffs. It's a rough thing to see these guys doing that, and it's a really tough to see that these players getting traded. You know that it's part of the business. They get compensated very well, but there's still got to be a bit of a heartfelt moment for some of these guys when they do get dealt, and they say, "See you later, thanks for your service, but we got to go." Yeah, you made $3 million, but please call your wife and let her know that you won't be home when you said you were going to be home. So it's an odd thing to see that happens in the National Hockey League at trade deadline day. And before we get going on to birthdays and stuff, I've got to admit I was wrong not once but twice in the past week. Well, this one went back quite a ways. I talked about Manny Machado not signing with San Diego. Obviously, he signed with San Diego because I thought he was going to end up on the Mets. So I was wrong on that one. And then last week I was wrong with Patty Kane sticking around Chicago. And even it was just a couple days ago I thought that Kane would stick around. So there it was. I was wrong twice in the last couple of weeks on 14:20 in the morning. So it's kind of a funny little story. You throw enough shit on the wall, someone's bound to stick, right? And if I would have been right, then you guys would have been, hey, let's listen to what Brent said. So just make sure you guys listen every day to 14:20. Make sure you guys listen to our other shows. I got some good ones coming up the next couple of days. Got a collaboration show coming up tonight with two dudes with sports news. And then I got I'm recording with the Pesky Report for a Major League Baseball tour, which is happening later on this afternoon. So busy day here at World Headquarters. Lots going on. Busy. Yeah, it's better than being unbusy, I guess. Lots going on here in the sports world. But anyways, on this day in 1991, Brett Hull became a 70-goal scorer for the second time in his career with a goal versus the Flyers in a 4-4 tie. He got 2 assists that game, so 3 points. It was the second time in his career he scored 70. Man, that's a lot of goals. He finished the season with a career-high 86 goals. Unbelievable. That will never be done again. I can't, like Gretzky's obviously got the record, but 70-plus goals is unheard of. And happy 60th birthday to Ron Francis, born on this day in 1963 in Sault Ste. Marie, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, current member or current general manager of the Seattle Kraken, Hall of Fame guy, 23 years National Hockey League, 1,731 games played, 549 goals, 1,249 assists for 1,798 points. Happy birthday to Ron Francis. Anyways, thanks for you guys for tuning in today. Whoever's watching on Facebook Live and everything else, thank you. Make sure you tell people about us. Put us into your notifications to listen to the show every morning. Have your morning coffee with me, and we'll get this thing going a little bit smoother as the days progress. I got to breathe a little bit in the morning. I try to get as much in as I can every day. But it's an interesting concept that we have here going on at 14:20 World Headquarters. Anyways, the next stop in the Major League Baseball Fan Experience Tour is Chicago, Illinois, with friend of the show, Adam Kowalski. Met Adam over the summer last year, but he was on he's gracious enough to come on our show earlier on for the Foul Tip show, and he volunteered his services once again to be on our show for our tour, stopping at the old Comiskey Park, whatever it's called nowadays, there in Chicago. So make sure you guys give that one a listen. And yeah, lots going on. Also, I want to plug Jimmy Valentine, the show's producer, sound guy, all around good guy. His performing on air on Unsigned BC on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock Pacific. That's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys tune in to that. It's on 100.5 FM in Vancouver, but on unsignedbc.com. So make sure you guys give that one a listen. Thank you guys for listening to the show. It'll be up later on if you've listened to the show later on. But make sure you guys try to tune in every day on Facebook Live. We got a special one coming up later on tonight, and then a Pesky Report with the guys from Boston. Lots going on. Like I said, busy place here at 14:20 World Headquarters. Make sure you guys listen, talk, share, talk to people about the show, and have a good day. And always remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have a good day, folks. We'll talk to you again tomorrow morning. Now that you're a little bit older, you're of age to go and have a pregame beverage or something here and there. I know tailgating is probably a big thing with a lot of those places that have parking lots. Some places don't even have parking lots. They're in the center of a city. Where's a place to go for an adult beverage per se prior to a White Sox game? Where's the go-to place?
It's either the Cork and Kerry, which is right by the stadium. It's their second location. It's funny enough, they said that if they ever build a third, which will be a cold day in hell over on the north side, but Cork and Kerry is a good spot for both pre and post game. Pre-game, tailgating. Tailgating is where it's at.
Well, it saves yourself $100 probably, because you can buy a box of Bud Light or Canadian or whatever you want to buy for $20 compared to paying 2 beer for $20. Right? It's one of those things. Like, that's the one thing about Yankee Stadium that I don't like is there's no parking lots around anywhere. And so you're almost, well, you're if you're a drinker, I guess you're not forced to, but if you want to go have a beer wherever, it's $20 for a couple of drinks. Whereas if you tailgate, what's the food of choice at the tailgate? What's everybody cooking?
Ooh, you got bratwurst, you got hot dogs, you got burgers. Some people, there's a lot of like Hispanic culture in that side of town, so they'll bring it in it's a big party down there. Italian beef is a big thing too. But yeah, just really whatever you can bring and just have a good time.
No, the tailgate, that's one thing. Like I said, I love it. Like I go to USC games once a year, and that's almost better than the game itself. A lot of times when you walk around having some beers, having people invite you in. People are people pretty like for newcomers when they're coming around. I'm not saying like if a Yankee fan showed up wearing his garb, they'd be welcoming. But if a person's just wearing a t-shirt and a pair of shorts and just some random hat, are the fans at White Sox game, are they pretty welcoming to invite outsiders into